Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you've not done so, I would want you to please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, hit the bell button so that whenever I come up with new videos, you get notified first up. If you really like the content on my channel, like the videos that I bring to you, like the value that I deliver to you, please go ahead and hit the like button, comment on my videos, or share them with your network. This way, not only you will be deriving a lot of value from the content that I bring from my channel, but also that value is going to be delivered to your network as well. So with this video, we are going to be continuing our journey on the sales and communication series. And today I bring to you another important video where we are going to be understanding what is the difference between customer and consumer, plus what is the difference between customer communication and consumer communication. So let's get started. So what do you think is a customer or a consumer? Take 10 seconds, 15 seconds, stop the video and think about it. I hope you did think about what is the difference between a customer and a consumer. So who is customer and who is consumer? Let's see. A customer is someone who buys a particular product or a service, but that particular person, the customer, may or may not use that particular product or service. Whereas on the other hand, a consumer may or may not buy a particular product or service, but definitely will use that product or service. That is the difference between a customer and a consumer, very simply put. So I hope from today, if somebody asks you, what is the difference between a customer and a consumer, you can just go ahead and tell this difference to whomsoever asks you this question. Let's talk about communication from a customer standpoint, right? So from a customer standpoint, communication is primarily in terms of advertisements, in terms of social media messaging, in terms of internet ads, in terms of newspaper ads, in terms of billboards, and a lot of things, right? Primarily, the categories for customer communication include, but are not limited to, cars, automobiles, SUVs, right? Motorbikes, housing, and BFSI products. What is BFSI? Banking and financial services and insurance. Primarily, if you look at the communication that is aimed at customers, now a car will not be consumed by one person, right? So if you go ahead and buy a car, I'm sure you will also have your family riding in the car, your friends riding in the car, maybe your colleagues riding in the car, right? So from that standpoint, consumers can be so many, but customer is one. You bought the car, right? Similarly, similar is the case in case of SUVs, motorbikes, housing as well, right? So when you go ahead and buy a house for yourself, it's not that you're going to be staying alone in that house. Your family will also be a part of that particular house. They will be staying in the same house. Then you have banking, financial services, and insurance products, right? So when you open a bank account, right, you're not going to use it for your own self. You may want to add your family members or your spouses or your parents for that matter, right? Similarly, when you buy insurance products, the insurance coverage is not only for you, it's for your family as well if you've gone ahead and bought a family floater plan, right? So the communication that companies do for all of these categories of products, they are aimed at customers. They're not aimed at consumers per se. So that is one area. So if you look at a car ad, These days, there are a lot of ads which are coming up for, big cars and SUVs. They are aimed at a family per se. So more often than not, you see a family who's riding the entire car, right? From a housing perspective, there are a lot of advertisements which come these days. They are aimed at families rather than just one particular person who's going to buy the house or own the house, for that matter. Similarly, for insurance products, for BFSI products, it's aimed at one person who's going to make the purchase decision, but that purchase decision will have a bearing on a lot of family members as well. Again, you talk about hotels, you talk about airlines, FMCG products, or baby products. Now, these are again a part of customer communication. Whatever communication a hotel organization or an airline or an FMCG company or a baby product company for that matter gives out, or whatever communication they have for their specific markets, it's aimed at customers rather than consumers per se, right? Now let's look at consumer communication. So, you have a lot of electronics or white goods. So, when you talk about electronics and white goods, primarily, we talk about laptops, we talk about mobile phones, we talk about tablets, we talk about different devices. More often than not, they are used by one person or maximum two persons at home, right? So they are a part of consumer communication. So, you see all of these advertisements coming out from Lenovo, from Dell, from Intel for that matter, primarily aimed at consumers, consumer perishables, right? So when you talk about consumer perishables, again, these are goods with very low shelf life. So they have a time period after which they are not good to be used. They need to be discarded. So consumer perishables like food items, like fruits and vegetables, and there are other items as well, which are aimed at consumers per se. So for instance, if you talk about, any food supplement, for instance, a protein supplement, or these days you get all of these Horlicks and other food supplements which are aimed specifically, let's say, women or at men for that matter, right? So these are kind of more consumer oriented in terms of their communication. FMCG products also, they are more consumer oriented. A classic case is, the case of ready to eat products, uh, fast cooking products, something like, noodles and all. They are all aimed at consumers per se. So any communication which happens from a specific organization belonging to either a white good category or consumer durable or a consumer perishable for that matter, or for FMCG, a good part of their product portfolio can be aimed at consumers as well in terms of its communication. So that is what consumer communication is all about. And then consumer communication can also be toys, school products, and chocolates. If you've got kids, I'm sure, the moment you go to a store and the kid sees a chocolate, they can very well link to any particular Cadbury's advertisement or any particular Kit Kat advertisement which is aired on TV. School products in terms of school bags and stationery items and so on and so forth. Toys for that matter. You see a lot of advertisements coming in from Lego as well. So again, these are all aimed at consumers, which are more often than not children, right? So any communication which is aimed for these particular categories, as you see on screen, can be termed safely as consumer communication. Now, why do companies do so? So, why do we as a part of companies, or why do companies do so? Very simple. They need to increase sales. They need to bring in profits for their organization, and they need to get rid of inventories. So that is the very reason that you see a lot of communication which is aimed at customers and consumers at the same time. Now, one golden rule that I want to give you before I part today from this video and I come up with the next video is always remember that communicating the value or the end goal is far better than communicating the features of a product or a service. So let me give you an example. Let me try to give you an example from both customer standpoint and consumer standpoint. Let's look at the customer standpoint first. So let's assume so that there was this organization. I'm forgetting the name of it right now. So they used to sell drill bits. So I'm sure you have drilling machines at home and you have drill bits, right? So the idea that their marketing team had was that they want to communicate about their product, right? Primarily, they wanted to aim at customers who were like the building contractors or the builders per se, right? For buying that particular drilling machine. But they had such a brilliant marketing campaign to top it up that what they said is that we are not trying to sell you a drill machine. We are not trying to sell you a drill bit. What we're trying to sell you is the ability to make a hole. So that is the kind of value, the end goal that they wanted to communicate to their customers and consumers. So if you have a drill bit, if you have a drilling machine and you make a hole in a wall or in a cupboard or any particular area where you want to hang stuff or where you want to, put a nail. So the idea is that with that particular product, what you're actually getting is the ability to make a hole in the wall. So that is the kind of value that, organizations should try to look at rather than talking about the features of the product per se. From a consumer standpoint, when you talk about an experience, let's talk about an experience now. So I'm sure all of us know, and you know about the Emirates airline, right? It's one of the top-notch airlines in terms of service, right? So what they basically say is that they don't talk about that we have 100 plus Airbus 380 aircraft or we have these many Boeing 777s in our fleet. No, 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 no. They don't talk about this. What they talk about is fly better. Simple. So the end goal is that you want to fly from one source to a particular destination. So fly better with Emirates because the kind of services that they give. So always remember when you're trying to communicate, communicate the value or communicate the end goal more than communicating the features. People want to actually see what is going to be a change in them when they buy your product or service. And that is where communicating the value, the end goal will really help you. With this, I come to the end of this particular video in the sales and communication series. Till next time, take care. And if you've not done so, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell button. If you like this video, hit the like button, comment on this video or share this video with your network. And I'm going to be back with you soon with other videos in the sales and communication series. Thank you.